To begin with how it all started, a beginning in which for me seemed to have confused me greatly. I went from eating and drinking plenty and playing multiple sports at a high level, happy, or you could say satisfied with myself, fastest boy in the class, good at football and a talented runner. But all of a sudden my thoughts seemed to have become the new me, thoughts that I did not understand and that made me panic, thoughts that would never go away. Pencils needed to be in the right order with a desk clean with perfection. Well, you'd think that because it had to be spotless. I didn't want to do this, but I was given relief in doing so. I needed to give my mind a rest. I needed to know everything was okay. No one could touch my belongings, or I'd become upset leading to tears. Admittedly, certain noises impacted my emotions. In this situation, someone chewing would make me angry and make a ritual to look back at the person numerous times. Eating as slow as possible has become a particular compulsion for me when sitting at the table, taking food out of my mouth every time I put in a mouthful of food. These behaviours became an important problem in my mental health. Although I was denied whilst in hospital, finding it hard to differentiate between what's a compulsion, what is autism and what is an eating disorder behaviour. I found this important and a personal dilemma in living day-to-day life. Now, from my understanding, I was told you block out the compulsion by resisting the behaviour, containing the awful emotion and acting against your thoughts. Eventually, the challenge in your head would vanish, depending on how far you are in your recovery. Body image had scared me since I developed an eating disorder, checking and smacking my chest, pulling it tight to my bones. Sports were a fun distraction for me, doing something I had a desire to. These passions, like football for example, became a workout 24/7. I wouldn't stop as one run up some stairs would become and turn into an all-day addiction. Energyless after depriving my body, I could barely think properly. Definitely not myself. As a result of panic relating to our situation, my family and I wondered whether our life will ever get better. After numerous trips to the general hospital with no guidance or support, our picture, or my future, looked quite like a dark, dreary night. The wind was pushing me further back away from any bright lights, demanding and pleading nurses to ask the eating disorder team in my area to at least visit me so I could be given the treatment for my illness. It was about 7 months later that I finally was given the home treatment and family therapy to help me. But this was too late and was at the cost of having to follow a strict meal plan, which made me worry about my body image all the time. Markedly, my eating was a problem and having struggled eating healthy amounts at the beginning of my illness. Rapidly, I began damaging my bones as of over-exercising, running up and down stairs all day on top of doing football, running and swimming, one each day. I wouldn't miss a training session, doing each one at 100%. It was like a punishment. My brain was torturing my body. Consequently, my family and I had the vision that the support wasn't helping, coming to the conclusion that I wasn't being treated in the way that would ensure me recovery. I was diagnosed with anorexia nervosa, my life consumed by exercise such as unnecessary walking and running. This left my family and I to make a detrimental decision. Well, that was what we thought. I would be unhelpable. A suggestion was offered after everyone in my community team was going to be discharged. Doom and gloom for all I could see, until a suggestion was put forward, which we applied for the Mildred Creek unit in Great Ormond Street Hospital, or the MCU if I have come to know it. An intensive mental health unit that would be the only gasp of saving my life from exhaustion and a chance for help. The assessment finalised and the date set. I began having to cut down my exercising patterns to a more sustainable level before I went. This process started smoothly, but sadly got difficult in my current state. Instead, the running increased. A toxic environment was created and chanced that we would never make it to MCU before the breaking point. What more could they do for me? A frequently asked question. I didn't feel safe, although I made it to my admission day where everything was a relief. Finally, the day came, and I started improving, then dropping really below par, where MCU thought they could give no more support. Finally, a massive improvement to be performing with more control and enthusiasm over my eating disorder than ever before. Ever since I've worked with my core team, setting high challenges for myself, doing my reflection of my day and completing my externalising compulsion sheet, thriving in my setting down, eating a very unbalanced diet with flexibility of timings, and beginning to eat cooked food for lunch out like cafeteria at school. I'm going to school for full days and getting back to my personality again, normalising my behaviours, rewriting my anorexia's mistakes. It is important to separate the illness from yourself as they are separate people. You are just listening to the thoughts that your illness is giving you. Thoughts that are false, wanting you to lose weight by walking all the time, doing a jog every now and then that is unnecessary. You will never please the anorexia and it will not help you in the long run. So remember to show reassurance to someone when no longer reassured. Finally, to remember understanding to others when misunderstood. The word autism isn't what you should value, it's the traits and ways that it affects your life, restricting your personality inside. I suffer with ASD and I particularly struggle socialising with children, but not parents. I was feeling emotions such as sadness and anger that just built up from masking the difficulties around me, hoping that people understood with no misjudgment, including to have a life away from all this trauma, to be normal again. Relying on the friends and family around me, but still not having the confidence to always push through this horrible barrier. Just know to use that help because recovery is not a straight line. It's rocky and bouncy and waiting to tip you over the edge. You can't let it. Jump in the pool, never resist it as it will get warmer when you're inside it. Now sometimes you might feel on a different planet, with no kind of person, even yourself, understanding what's going on for you. Autism definitely has its disadvantages, but people with autism often forget the advantages. I struggle with my sensory, being sociable and talking to people my age, certain loud or irritating noises. However, I also have positives, like I have creative and artistic talents. In my opinion, characteristic strengths are honesty and loyalty, which I want you all to hold on to. My way of thinking is and was different to everyone else's. I felt like I was having the best time of my life, growing in passions I never believed I would participating in, to letting my mental health decline, everything and everyone you care about being taken away by the illness. That being said, it is never too late to make a change no matter the point in life. Believe you can and you will. Thank you for listening.